Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ghost Stories with Fans. We have a special guest tonight from Fox Cities Paranormal Team. Please introduce Tim Malley from Fox City Paranormal Team. Hello, Tim. How are you doing?
Hey, how you doing? I kind of feel like I should have done something with my hair before we came on.
Yeah, I just kind of, when I do these live shows, I try to go out with it. The reason why I'm talking a little bit more quieter tonight is because my daughter just turned 1 year old, and she was a little kind of up past her bedtime, so we had a little hard time getting her to go back to sleep. So,
All right, I'll take the lead on being the loud one then, and we'll get through this hour, and I'm sure we'll have a good time.
sounds good. Does it sound good on your end though? Like, am I
Yeah,
too quiet?
No, I can hear you fine.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure I was not talking too quiet or not. So we're just gonna take some time just to get some fans in. We're waiting for people to show up. We're at one person right now. We're at two people, so everybody that just tuned in, please make sure to share with your friends, your family. All right, so we do have about 4 people in, so we can get started. Can you tell our fans just a little bit about who you are? I also know that you do photography for animals, for dogs. So that's also, we would like to talk a little bit about that as well. So I'll let you take the stage.
My name is Tim Miley. I run a team called Fox Cities Paranormal Team here in, I guess, eastern Wisconsin. I've been doing that for about 13 years now, and had an opportunity to do quite a bit of radio, a little bit of TV. We'll get into some of that, I'm sure. And you mentioned the stuff I do with animals. Actually, I don't touch a camera. it's potographs for pooches, and potograph is a play on words for autograph. So we go around and we do events, and we raise money for animal shelters around the country. So, and the paranormal field is what's given me the platform to do that. So I'm eternally grateful, and you'll probably hear me say that quite a bit here in the next hour.
Actually, I thought it was actually a photography for animals, with just with the name photography. I was like, it kind of fits with photography. Then I saw with the pictures, I was like, I wonder if he does photography for animals.
No, it's potographs for pooches, photography. The only part of photography that's in there is I do sell the photos for $10 a piece, and raise money for the shelters. Everything goes to the shelter that we're raising money for that particular weekend. And I've been doing that for, it'll be 8 years in April.
That sounds like it's a good cause too. You're donating to shelters in need, like with animals and stuff. I mean, that's a positive. That's, you're doing something good for the community too.
I try to.
So we have a fan that just asked JJ Fox or Foz, what is the best ghost box out there these days?
I'm kind of spoiled. My very good friend is Tim Woolworth, ITC Voices, Paranormal Study, and he's kind of hooked me up with some. He has a Frank's box. He's got some other boxes that we use from time to time when we get together. I have a very primitive ghost box that we use occasionally. I don't bust it out very often. I'm not really the ITC guy, so I'm sorry I can't give you a better answer on ghost boxes.
The only ghost box that we use is, well, we did use an SB11. And we have the S box from Ghost Stop. We're affiliated with Ghost Stop, so you can actually go to our page, and actually, if you want to check out a Ghost Stop for S box, you can as well. Good question, though. So do you have anything like big coming up planned for your fans or anything?
Well, we've got an event coming up in March that we're keeping an eye on the current situation with. Pottergrass Parafest 2 over in Houghton Lake, Michigan, March 5th and 6th. All the money there is going to be raised to Silver Muzzle Cottage, or for Silver Muzzle Cottage. It's a senior and hospice rescue for dogs and animals. So, like I said, March 5th and 6th, we're keeping an eye on the current COVID situation. It'll be at a reduced capacity, and we'll use all the safety measures that we have to. But looking forward to that event, and going to have Carl Johnson and James Anito there. Health willing, both of them are suffering from COVID as we speak. So I want to send my thoughts out to both of them and hope they get well very soon. But people like Paul Bradford from Ghost Hunters International and Trending Fear, Scott Tepperman from Ghost Hunters International, Tim Woolworth, who I mentioned earlier, they're going to be there. A handful of other speakers. So it's going to be a fun weekend, and we're going to raise as much money as we can for the shelter. And like I said, we're not gonna run the event if it's not safe. So right now, just kind of keeping my eye on that, and the numbers have been trending down here lately. So if we feel like we can do it safely, we'll do it. Otherwise, it'll be another postponed or canceled event. And there's been quite a few of them since the beginning of 2020, unfortunately.
I hear you there. So is there something I'm not aware of with the COVID numbers in Wisconsin at all?
The events in Michigan, they are declining. The numbers are looking better. So we're just kind of keeping an eye on that and making sure they're trending the right way. Obviously, if there's a spike and we have all these people flying in from around the country, it's probably not the safest thing in the world to do. So we want to run the event, but we want to run it with a little bit of intelligence and not put others at risk. So just keeping an eye on that and really hoping and praying that we can run the event.
Like they say in the paranormal field, safety first.
Definitely. And, I don't want to do anything to put our friends and my fellow colleagues at risk. So if the event does go on, like I said, it's going to be social distance. It's going to be a mask. It's going to be sanitizer, all those great things. And also, at a reduced capacity. So try to be as smart as we can about it. And at the same time, still raise money for the animals.
That's the best way to do it, is be safe for everything for everybody else too, to make sure everybody else. So I'm pretty sure you don't want to have a event that could be possibly linked to COVID.
Yeah, I don't want to be the guy that runs the event that ends up being a super spreader. That wouldn't be good PR. So
no.
So we're keeping an eye on that. And like I said, if we got to pull the plug on the event and Michigan says we can't have it, then then we offer refunds and we move forward. But if we can do it safely, if we feel like we can do it safely, we're going to. One of the things about it is a lot of us have been in our houses for 11 months and away from people. And I think, honestly, it's probably a good thing to get together, just as long as you do it, safely. But it'd be good for people to see one another and interact, not on a video screen.
To be honest, yeah, that's actually how I was hoping that maybe this year it might be different, because we have a lot of events that we want to kind of do this year in 2021. So like we're hoping to get to do Waverly Hills for a pair unity, have a bunch of teams come in and then open it up for the public with tickets and stuff like that and VIP investigations. So that could be a possibility. We're in the process of hopefully making that work. So if we get enough support, it could be easily done.
There's some people that are running investigations around the country and doing events like that and keeping the numbers small and requiring masks, and things have gone well for them. So we're using that as a model and trying to follow that protocol and like we said earlier, it's just you don't want to be the event that's known as the one that everybody got COVID at. So just being smart about it, and we're about a month out, or actually we're exactly a month out, and keep an eye on it, and we'll make a decision as we get closer. But for now, we plan on running the event.
Well, that sounds like a going to be a spootastic event to have.
I hope so. I hope people get together, have a good time. A lot of different topics, and the whole weekend is kind of geared towards raising money for that shelter. So it's nice to get people together with one purpose and one goal.
Yep.
And it's not like your typical paranormal convention. It's more like a family reunion. A lot of people. We typically run about 3 or 4 of these a year, and a lot of those same people come to the events. So you get to know them very well, and that's you want to be safe with people in general, but also people that you've grown close to. You certainly don't want to put them in harm's way.
Exactly, because like I said, it's always about the safety that we want to make sure. Jasmine says, very excited for Michigan.
Yep, Holton Lake, Michigan. That's the one we've been talking about. Jasmine's actually on Fox Cities Paranormal Team, and does a fantastic job. So I thank her for coming in here and kind of supporting me and listening to the show. But yeah, she's going to be at the event. There's tickets are selling pretty well, considering. So hopefully we get to the goal.
Well, that's always a good thing. I mean, we got kind of a somewhat of a big event coming up in March. It's pretty much a 3-in-1 investigation. 3 places, 3 days, and it's in Wisconsin. We're going to Broadhead, Wisconsin. I don't know if you are you familiar?
I'm not familiar with it.
Okay. Yeah, it's I guess it used to be a high school or a middle school, and then Fibs North. It's like a supper club.
Oh, okay.
I don't know much about it except for besides I'm learning with more from Travis from Lost Souls in the Shadows Paranormal Team LLC. They actually, I think he's actually a chef there, so he knows more about the location. So everybody stay tuned for that, because that's going to be kind of nervous wracking, because I guess I was talking to the owner today when we did our little sneak peek, and I guess it has a little bit of demonic activity. So that's always kind of, a little shocker to hear.
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, you wouldn't expect it from a supper club. But there's a door down in the basement that's dated back to 1906. So, when it used to be a saloon. So that's going to be very interesting. I keep hearing noises. Interesting. There's noises coming through the headphones that I'm not familiar with. Kind of sounds staticky.
I'm not getting any of that on my end, so.
Well, that's interesting. It's kind of a quiet night. We're waiting for questions, because I did post up on the Facebook page if anybody has any questions that we would like us to talk about for a topic. Because with that event being coming up in Wisconsin, we're trying to get David Childers on that event.
Okay.
Do you know who he is?
I know of him. I don't know David personally.
Okay. We're gonna see if I can share this out. So ever since 2021 has started, have you been on an investigation, or would be March would be your first one since the new year?
Since the new year, we haven't had an investigation. Most of our investigations are residential, so it kind of depends on when people contact us. Um, from July of 2020 till about the middle of November, it was pretty much every other weekend we were in somebody's home trying to help. So we've been quite busy. So having a month and a half or whatever it's been off has been okay. It's been a welcome break, but we were pretty busy there for a while, and like I said, things have calmed down.
I'd noticed that it's been more private home investigations that been popping up more since the COVID pandemic from 2020. Like since ever 2021 started, it's been a lot of private home investigations that been trying to contact. So that's always a good thing, though. Jasmine said, "Is there a link for this on the event page? I had to go to the Paranormal Investigators in Northern Minnesota in order to find the live link." There should have been an event on Facebook because it shows on my screen up here in my dash tools that it's sharing to that or Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitter, and Twitch.
I just shared it on my page, so hopefully people will see it there. Yeah, so most of what we do, most of what I've done in the last 13 years when it comes to the paranormal is all residential investigations. We don't spend a whole lot of time with the larger, well-known places. I do get a chance to do events quite often, and as a part of those, we'll do public investigations. But my passion in the paranormal field is residential investigations. So it's nice to be able to help, but at the same time, after about 5 minutes of run or 5 months of running every other weekend, it's nice to get a little bit of break. But I'm sure it'll pick up here in a month or two, and we'll be right back at it.
I did notice with public-private investigations with residentials, they're more of a mystery because you don't know exactly what you're going to expect. Like, you don't know exactly what's going to happen compared to all these bigger places where everybody already did videos, has showed documentation or data for evidence purposes. Might be just be on my end. No worries. I don't know. It's normally more on a Friday night. It's usually more busy with our podcast on Friday nights, and I did advertise it pretty well. But that's okay. People can probably watch it later too. Once it's daytime too.
You mentioned residential investigations being different. Every residential investigation is a different puzzle that you have to put together. And for me, it's more pressure because you're dealing with a family. You're dealing with their livelihoods and whether or not they want to stay or leave their home. So for me, every investigation is trying to put together that puzzle, trying to figure it out, and bringing that family some comfort, and hopefully allowing them to sleep at night and not have to live in fear. Sounds very dramatic, but in some cases, live in fear.
That's to piggyback off of what you were talking about with the private home investigations. It is more stressful because you do have family around, but then not only that, it's more. I was going to bring up a point. Do you have the client fill out any kind of form to give you a back history, or do you go straight in without knowing anything?
It's not so much a form. They contact us, and I'll have a lengthy phone conversation with them. Not really a formal interview type thing, but I'll take notes and write down, the claims and anything that they may think is happening in the home, any spirits they think may be causing the activity, and then if it's possible, we do research of the home, research of the land, try to get as much information as we can about the property before we go in. Um, but yeah, we definitely do an extensive interview and conversation with them before we ever decide that we're going to head into the home. But in 13 years and over 250 investigations, we've only really turned down two, and that was due to like personality issues, demands that they were making before we could come into the home. It just didn't make sense if you truly wanted help uh, with a paranormal investigation. So it really stems. Fox Cities Paranormal Team was created because I had issues in my home when I bought my home, and for me, I couldn't get a hold of people to come in and help me. So really, when it comes to Fox Cities Paranormal Team, we try not to turn anybody away, because I know how that feels when people don't think that you're worth their time. So if it's as simple as us coming in and giving them logical reasons as to what is happening in the home, then that's a win for us too. It doesn't always have to be about the evidence. As a matter of fact, the evidence, quite honestly, is secondary for me. If we leave the home and they're more comfortable, than when we first got there, then, like I said, that's a win. And small victories are good, and then eventually you get to the point where you've got them comfortable and they can resume their normal life, and that's the ultimate reward.
See, you have a very strong heart for the paranormal and for your clients as well. So that's a good quality to have in a paranormal team, to be honest.
Thank you. When we look for, and Jasmine, like I said, is part of the team. When we look for people to join the team, I think the team is set at 11 people now. We obviously don't take everybody into a residential case, but it really comes down to, I could get a call on Thursday saying, "Hey, I need you in here Saturday. Can you make it?" And if we can get 2 or 3 people and put a team together and go help that family, then that's what we'll do. When we open it up for new members, I really don't care if you know anything about the paranormal. In my mind, I can teach you that stuff. I can't teach you to be a good person, though. So if you don't have compassion for people and care about people, then you really don't fit in on Fox Cities Paranormal Team. So thank you for the compliment. It's kind of what we strive for. We strive to be a team that you can count on, that cares about you and the field. And like I said earlier, I get a chance to do a lot of events. The photograph stuff is popular, and the paranormal field and the platform that gives me really provides me with that opportunity. So anytime I can give back to the field and kind of be an ambassador, yeah, I'm happy to do that.
See, yeah, it's just amazing how you guys have that kind of compassion for the paranormal and for the clients as well. So, how many members are on the team? You said 11?
Yeah, 11 current members on the team right now. And typically at a residential investigation, we'll take 4 if we can get them. We don't want to overload the home. We go into the home and set up our cameras, set up our audio, and if the client stays with us, then we keep a person at central command with them. They stay at the monitor. We can answer any questions they have. Kind of rotate out of that position, so everybody investigates, everybody sits with the client, and it's all about making the client as comfortable as we can. You want to be there and comfort them and answer any questions that they may have during the course of the night.
Well, yeah, because some people might actually even be deathly terrified.
More often than not, they are. I mean, if you get to the point where you're going to let 4 or 5 strangers into your home and walk around in the dark, you've gotten to a point where things are pretty real, and you're looking for anything you can for answers. And they're putting a lot of trust in you, and you don't want to betray that trust. So, it's very important to us and we're not perfect. I'll never sit here and tell you we're perfect. There's been plenty of investigations I look back at and think to myself, man, we could have done that different, or we could have done this different. The only thing I ever promise a client is that we're going to try our best. Because in this field, you can't guarantee results. You can go into the most active location ever, and for that 6 to 8 hours, the spirit just doesn't want anything to do with you, and doesn't interact. And that doesn't necessarily mean there isn't anything there. It just means on that one particular night, nothing happened. So there's a lot of trust between the client and the team, and I always tell them, we kind of become a part of the family. Until we figured this out for you, you're kind of stuck with us.
Exactly. That's the way I would look at it. And just to let everybody know, Jasmine, the link is literally right below me for this event, for this episode. It's a weird, it's a weird link. I wish they would just make them a little more customizable, where it's not so long and bunch of numbers, where you would have to literally let it sit there for like 25 minutes just for somebody to copy it down. Because I don't know, are you able to customize any links when you do events like that, or are they just like this too?
I got out of the radio and video business about a year ago, so I haven't had to deal with Zoom or StreamYard. I've done quite a few interviews through StreamYard, but like I said, I did share it I shared the video on my Facebook wall. So hopefully there's some lost souls sitting home on a Friday night that have nothing better to do. I mean, it's 6 degrees out in Wisconsin, so it's not beautiful weather. So nobody's walking around tonight taking a walk. So hopefully we'll straggle in.
Actually, my wife's actually been sharing too, so that's actually the one that posted up the link here on the bottom. She commented and I just posted it up. So if anybody wants to copy and paste this link and share it to your friends and family, we have literally a half an hour left of the show, and we would like to talk to anybody that has any questions. Maybe are you just curious of the paranormal? Like, have you ever had an experience and you just don't know what to think of it? Well, bring it to our show. That's what Ghost Stories with Fans is all about. We're here to answer any kind of stories or, any kind of questions you may have. So, Tim, with that being said, what would you say would probably be on like top 10? I don't know if you can release like information or not, but what would be your top 10 private house investigation for residential?
The best one we've ever done was a house in a little town about 45 minutes east of here. It's in Chilton, Wisconsin. Nobody knows where that is if they're listening and they're not from Wisconsin. But we worked on that case for 2 years, and I was 2 years into doing this, so it's already 11 years ago, which makes me feel incredibly old. But it was a case involving a 2-year-old boy that had been murdered in the home, and the spirit of the 2-year-old boy, and then also the spirit of the older man that murdered the boy was being seen in the home. So ended up, like I said, working on that case for 2 years. Finally got some closure with it, working with Scotty Rourke, a fantastic medium. And eventually that entire case ended up being on Paranormal Witness on what was then the Sci-Fi Channel, but I think they're on Destination America now. I'm not real sure. Maybe they all got moved to Discovery Plus. But so yeah, I did a little bit of TV 8 years ago, and I haven't done any since because it wasn't really a good experience. But yeah, so we ended up helping the spirit of that little boy move on, and have kept in close contact with that family, and they haven't had any issues in the home for the last 9 years. So things are going good over there. That family has become like a family to me. It's strange because when we first started working on that case, they had small children, and now they're all grown up and out of the house. So a lot of things have changed, but definitely the most memorable case that we've done. And there's been other cases along the way, but that's the one that always sticks out to me. And when I had a chance to do the show, we did the show and the show aired, and I was a little bit naive. I didn't realize how many people watched Paranormal Witness, and my social media blew up, and overnight it was like we became legitimate. And I always thought we were legitimate before that, but I guess the appearance on TV made it all worthwhile. But it did allow us to get into more homes because people knew who we were then, and we were able to help more families through that. So if the opportunity came up again and it felt right, we would probably do some more TV, but it's not really at the forefront right now. It's not a goal. It's kind of a been there, done that, didn't really enjoy it thing. And I'll let other people have that if they want it.
I'm kind of getting a little nervous now after you said that.
What's that?
Because we were reached out by a production company from the Travel Channel. And after you saying that it's something that you wouldn't it would be your kind of like your last resort to go back to kind of thing, that kind of worries me. Like, is it kind of that not that great to be on TV, or?
Well, the TV experience itself wasn't bad. It was just the recording of the show and them wanting to change the way I was saying things and tell the story differently. And it didn't seem right to me because that's not the way it happened. So fun story about that. They actually sent me home after 6 hours because we got in an argument because I wouldn't say it the way they wanted me to. And I think after 9 years, my non-disclosure agreement is probably still there, so I shouldn't say anything. But they sent me home after 6 hours and invited me to come back the next morning. And I came back the next morning and I said, I'm just going to tell you what happened that night. I'm not going to phrase it differently so it fits your narrative for your show. The show came out. They twisted around the timeline and everything, but at the heart of it all, they kept the story the same. They told Chris's story, which was a 2-year-old boy's name. They told his story and all the awful things that happened to him, and people got to know that there was a lot of unhealthy things that happened in that home. Dana asked 6 hours. I was there 6 hours the first day, and then they brought me back the second day, and I was there for another 6. So they interviewed me for 12 hours, and I think they used me for 3 hours or 3 minutes on the show. So you see me for about 3 minutes on the show, but I was there for 12 hours over 2 days.
Holy moly, for just that many minutes on the show?
Yeah, I mean, the experience itself was worth going through. It was kind of surreal seeing myself on TV. But again, like I said, it's never really been something that I've strived for. So, the lure is not there. If it happens, it happens. But they have to sell a show. They have to sell advertising. They have to make it exciting. They have to make it watchable. And I thought the story itself probably was good enough, but they had different ideas, and they're the ones making the show. So it was frustrating. They interviewed Scotty Rourke for about 6 hours and then cut him completely from the show. So yeah, the whole experience was not what I would say incredible, but I mean, it wasn't horrible either. I'm glad I went through it. I'm glad I did it.
Well, I mean, I might as well just give it a shot. I mean, did you have to do a lot of traveling or anything like that?
No, they actually came over from London and rented a studio space about 15 minutes from my home. So I drove to the studio, did the interview for 6 hours the first day. They sent me home. I came back the next day for 6 hours, and then I was done. And they flew back to London, and everything was in the can, and they put together the show. And I didn't see it until it came out. The week before it aired, they had the preview on, and the preview was very over the top, and it scared the hell out of me. But then when I got to see the show, it wasn't exactly how things happened, but it was it was okay. I wasn't totally disappointed, but I definitely did fight for 2 days to tell the story the way it needed to be told.
See, that's what I was actually worried about is, see, I was told about that. I was warned about, like, you know what your story is, but sometimes when you get into TV, they change, like, they want you to say what they want you to say. And I was like, not this guy. Because I'm not going to, like, sugarcoat it. I'm going to tell the real story, the truth about it, not make up a fib or a lie about it. Exactly, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's what we try to do in our lives when we go investigate and do our cases. We like to show the evidence. We like to show it on live, so then you guys can see it, like, firsthand. So it's not cut, edited, paste, or whatever in the video. Even though I don't know how to do any of that kind of stuff, I have a video person that does all that. So, I mean, I'm just saying in general, I just don't like that kind of uppity, just to get your numbers or your ratings up kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, when you're on network television, I'm sure that they have quotas and numbers they have to hit, otherwise they risk not having a show anymore. So, that's just part of it. But I held my head high, and I knew that I fought for the truth. And it's so much easier to remember the truth than it is to remember the lies that you've told. So that's always something that we pride ourselves in. There's been plenty of cases out of the 250 plus that we've done where absolutely nothing happens, and that's fun, and that's fine. And there's there's a lot of people that don't understand that aspect of it. You go into a home and you spend 6 or 8 hours or however long you're there, and absolutely nothing happens, and most of the time you're just sitting talking to each other in the dark, and you go back and you listen to the audio and you're like, all right, well, let's try this again. Because like I said earlier, we don't give up on the client, and just because they don't talk to us in those 6 or 8 hours doesn't mean it's not happening. So you go back, you try again, and then if you still don't have anything, you develop a plan going forward, and kind of get to a point at least where the client is comfortable with either moving on or talking about logical reasons and things of that nature.
So has there been ever a time where you went on a very, like, long investigation and you have never, like, for traveling wise, and you haven't had, like, caught one single piece of evidence or data?
Well, often, very often. We go around the state of Wisconsin, so some of the investigations we've done, we've been about a 3-hour drive. You drive 3 hours and you go through a night and try to figure out what you can, and drive 3 hours back, and then you listen to everything, and you had no experiences and nothing that came across on audio or video. But that doesn't mean that the night was a failure. It just means that you had a chance to work together as a team, improve as a team, improve your style, improve the way you investigate with each other. Every night is an opportunity to get better. Whether something happens or not, it's an opportunity to improve as an investigator, improve as a team. And we take each and every opportunity we can to do that. And we never get disappointed if we don't get anything, because at the end of the night, it's easier to explain to a client, hey, these are logical reasons why these things are happening, than it is to say, hey, Grandpa Frank is walking across the attic floor, and let's try to figure that out. Sometimes the most logical reasons are the easiest. Whatever is best for the client is best for us.
That's a good way to look at it, because it's, if they're not happy, then why would you be happy?
Exactly. I've never walked out of an investigation that had a whole lot of activity thinking, wow, that was awesome. I know a lot of people do, but If you have a lot of activity, that just means that the client is there to experience that activity, and they know there's things happening, and it raises their anxiety until you can get to the point where you can figure it out. So I never wish any activity on anybody. That's why I'm okay with this 2-month gap that we've had with no investigations. I'm not the kind of guy that's just jonesing to get out there, and if we're needed, we're needed. If not, I'm going to enjoy the rest, the other aspects of my life. A long time ago, somebody told me when I got into this field that the paranormal field can become very important, but don't let the paranormal become your life. And I've been guilty of that sometimes, where I'm just go, go, go. But you have to enjoy the breaks. You have to enjoy your downtime and find other things that bring you happiness. Otherwise, when the paranormal goes away, then what do you have? So you have to have a balance, as Mr. Miyagi once said in The Karate Kid, and referencing movies which would really kill my friend Todd. But yeah, so I mean, we do our best each and every night, and like I said, it's never a win for us if the client ends up terrified. So we don't wish for that stuff.
See, I'm kind of like different. I kind of get that like paranormal itch. Like once a month, kind of, it just kind of drives me nuts already. Because I don't know, I get really into it. I mean, I like helping spirits be able to cross over.
Yeah, I get
stuff
into
like
it
that.
too.
I mean,
yeah, just there's other aspects of life that I get lost into.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. There's other things too that occupy my time, and when we're needed with the paranormal stuff, then yeah, we're 100% in. But you very rarely will see me asking people, for ideas for cases, because it seems like when it rains, it pours, and if we get 1 or 2 requests, then the next thing you know, our next 3 months are full. So, like I said, I mean, I encourage the people on the team to enjoy our downtime, spend time with your family, your friends, because when it gets busy again, then we're pretty much gone every weekend. So, and it comes in cycles, and that's fine. And after the 13 years of this, I probably am starting to become the old man of the paranormal, get off my lawn type of guy. but the paranormal is important to me. It really is. It's a passion. But like I said, you got to have a balance. And, I understand the want and the need to get out there and help spirits and all of that. But, for me, I also enjoy sitting on my couch with my dogs and just watching a movie. So if I have a Friday or a Saturday night to do that, that's fine by me too.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, having like too much going on at once is way, way too much. So I mean, yeah, I like my breaks. It does get a little boring sometimes because I mean, I do work too. So I'm a cell truck driver. So this cold polar blast or whatever they're talking about, it's been kicking my butt lately.
Yeah, it's not nice out there right now. It's one of those "why do I live where the air hurts my face" type moments.
Exactly.
It's I take the dogs outside and they don't want to be out there very long either. But yeah, I mean, and that's one of the common misconceptions is you get to a certain point in the paranormal field and everybody thinks you just live off the paranormal. I have a normal day job just like everybody else, and in fact, my schedule rotates weekly. So when I'm asked to do these radio interviews and everything, it's like I can only do an interview every 3 weeks. But yeah, so I mean, work, family, friends, people that know me, know my dogs are more important to me than anything really. So yeah, if I get a chance to hang out with them, whether it's I think it's supposed to get down to like -5. You're over in Minnesota though, so you're probably -15 tonight because you're basically Canada. So yeah, I feel for you working outside in this stuff.
Yeah, it was that, what was it, yesterday night? Yeah, that was a blistery night. That was nippy. You know, when you're in a bobcat that's not enclosed and you're loading up salt in these big, tall salt trucks, yeah, it kind of gets a little. You better have a face wrap because it's that nippy, right? Like right now, it's supposed to only get down to -2 tonight,
Look at that. It's a heat wave.
which is kind of weird because last night it wasn't. It was really cold last night, but tonight, that's a shocker. Hmm. All right. Well, I guess like they say, Mother Nature is just moody with the weather changes. Like first we went from rain to snow. Well, actually, first we went from like 70 to 80-degree weather to snow. Like, where does that just come from?
I think we can all agree we can blame Canada for that one. Nothing. I'm going to make you a lot of friends. Nothing good comes from Canada. So, no, I kid because I have quite a few friends that live in Canada, and a bunch of friends that live in Winnipeg, which is not too far north from you. And every time we get a cold snap or a big snowstorm, I always send them a message on Facebook telling them thank you. Canada is beautiful. Winnipeg area is nice, but yeah, the winters there. I'm a big boy, but I don't think I'd survive. I couldn't handle that kind of cold for that length of time.
Well, no, I literally can. I can't even go outside for like 2 minutes, and my fingertips are already like icicles. Like it goes that cold and that numb real quick. So I mean, I wouldn't last probably that long up there either. I mean, I only know one person in Canada, and that's I think Ontario. I think is that in Canada? I don't know.
That is in the Canada. That's where
Okay.
Toronto. So,
Okay, I just want to make sure I was
yeah.
the right country here.
No, you're good.
So yeah, and that's most RG. So I mean that's about it for Canada for me. That's all I know. But with almost the last 12 minutes left of the show, is there anything that you ever had in the paranormal field that you still can't explain to this day after being in it that long?
The only thing I'm certain of in the paranormal is I don't know anything. And that's an honest answer. We're in a field that's based on theory. Nothing is fact. So there's a lot of opinions. I always say there's no experts in the paranormal, but there are people with more experience. There's folks in the paranormal that have been doing this for 30, 40 years that have taken me under their wing and told me and taught me what they know. And even they will tell you that, once the day comes that I think I know everything, then it's probably time for me to move on. I'm confident in what we do, but if you hold my feet to the fire and say, what is something that you are sure of? I really don't know, because my opinion of the paranormal is constantly evolving. I look back to how I started in 2008 and how I ran investigations and how I interacted with spirit at that time. And 13 years later, everything is different. It's just an evolution. And if you don't keep evolving in the paranormal field will pass you by. The first question we had tonight was on ghost boxes. 13 years ago, I didn't even think of using one. 13 years ago, everybody told me Ouija boards were evil. And now the majority of people will tell you, well, it's just a tool, and it depends on what you use it for and your intent. 13 years ago, everybody hated them, and they were evil, and you were going to get an attachment if you used them. And now it's like, well, it's just a toy that they sell at Walmart. So I mean, the field constantly evolves, and if I were to get up here or get anywhere and kind of get on my soapbox and tell people this is exactly what an investigation should be, then I would probably be laughed out of the field. But there are many ways to do an investigation. There's no right way. to do an investigation. Whatever works for you is good. But I will tell you there's a wrong way. And the wrong way is being disrespectful to the spirits, disrespectful to the client. Just respect the field, because if you're good to the field will take care of you, and you'll get many opportunities to do some amazing things if you're in it for long enough. So that answer probably surprises you, but I'm confident in our ability to do investigations. I'm not so confident that I can get up here and say this is what I know for sure. Because the next investigation I go on, every thought I have on the paranormal may change with one experience.
I actually am shocked with that answer, because you are a very intriguing person. Like, your outlook to the paranormal is like fascinating. I'm very like interested in learning more about it, because how you talk about the paranormal, it's kind of different than what others that I talked to prior. So your answers kind of stick out to me. Like, you make my mind start like wondering, like, that's a good, a good thought, a good idea. Dana says, are there any of your events set up in Wisconsin this year? I do believe we did cover that already, but I think you might have came in at a different time of the video.
Well, there's a Potographs event that I'm planning for Wisconsin also later this year. It'll be in Ripon. It's in October. We haven't announced it. There's no poster for it or ticket sales yet. Just kind of waiting for everything to kind of blow over and get through our event in March, and then we got an event in May in Oklahoma. But yeah, we'll be announcing something for Wisconsin here coming up soon.
You guys really like travel pretty far. Like you said, Oklahoma. I mean, I think the farthest was Iowa so far for us. And now this year it's a little different, because now we're going to Missouri. Yeah, there's a lot of places. I don't want to spoil too much, even though I did probably post it already. I'm just guessing I probably did, but if I did, that's okay, because you know what? We want the following, because these places do kind of get a little nervous-wracking for the team, because you never know what you're going to get yourself into when you walk through that door. It's pretty much, they're unseen. You can't really see it. So you're walking into an unseen force field that who knows what's going to happen. Like, have you ever had that thought in your like mind, like, oh boy, I'm here. This place is huge. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm just going to give it a good run for it.
Every place we go to, you can think you have an idea of what is in there, what spirits may be in there. But at the end of the day, you don't really know. So any building you go into for an investigation, I think you should have your guard up and be prepared for the worst. Doing a lot of residential investigations, the clients always fear the worst when they have activity. They never jump to, it's probably my grandma Edna. They jump to, this is a demon, because that's what's cool and flashy for TV and movies. But for people that have never dealt with it before, it's very, very scary. It's terrifying. You fear what you don't understand. So I always respect each investigation going in, because it's so unpredictable what we do. You don't know what you're going to walk into each and every night.
That's exactly like how I was talking about when I first started into the paranormal. It's like I had that kind of I think we kind of already talked about it, the creeper. Or wait a minute, that wasn't you. Sorry, I had so many people I talked to on a weekly basis.
I would have remembered if you told me about a creeper.
Okay, so you know what a creeper is then, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, yeah, it's a tall, black, shadowy figure with red glowing eyes. Yeah, it's not the greatest sight to look at when you're like only young, like you're 16 years old, 15, 13, somewhere in that age range, and you see something like that, you're like, what goes through your mind at that age? I mean, so I've been like searching to understand into the paranormal world more, to know exactly like what did I really encounter that day, because it hasn't happened ever since then. Like, what did I really like encounter at that time?
Yeah, there's I mean, we talked about that Chilton case earlier that ended up on Paranormal Witness. Um, for years after that case, I thought about that little boy every day. And you question yourself, and could we have done something different? Could we have, what could we have done better? So yeah, I mean, I'm the kind of person that overanalyzes constantly. I'm very critical of myself, and then you throw in the paranormal on top of that, and the unknown that we deal with, and yeah, my mind very rarely shuts off. So I know exactly what you're talking about. You're constantly analyzing it and just going over it in your head.
Yep, it's exactly what I was getting at. It's like once you, like people say, once you get into the paranormal field, sometimes you can get an attachment to a spirit, even though they're not living. Like, like you're talking about, like you constantly kept thinking about that little boy. Like, there's like some part of us that has like a psychology in our brains that who else would be better to communicate with the paranormal that other than us. I mean, we really want to know more about it, that kind of realm. So I mean, like, is it true that you could get an attachment to a spirit that you're crossing over or helping?
Yeah, I mean, I've had spirits. We do as much as we can with protection, saying prayers and making sure that these things don't follow us home. But I can think of a handful just off the top of my head where the spirit has followed me home and had to deal with it. But at the time, it's just a curiosity thing. You make a. I pride myself on creating a connection between myself and the spirit in the home, and getting them to trust us and communicate with us, and you can kind of if you give respect, you get respect in return. It's kind of my thing. But sometimes you create such an emotional bond or connection that out of curiosity they just follow you home. And I've had that happen a handful of times, and thankfully each and every time that's happened, you just kind of ask them to go back to where they were, and they really don't need to be here. But at the same time, I've been doing this for so long, I'm not really afraid of a spirit being here. I have spirits here quite often, and it's kind of ho hum actually. I mean, the spirits that are here are my dad and my dog Murray, and then your occasional spirits that come through just for any reason, and my grandma Martha. So the spirits that are in my home on a daily basis are very friendly, and I love having them here. So, and I'd like to think they look out for me too, and they wouldn't allow something to come in and do me any harm.
Well, see, at least that's a good thing for you. At least you got like friendly spirits that stick with you. So I do have one last question for you on your intake about what I was told by somebody. So what kind of spirit would this actually be? So somebody told me it was a dark spirit, but it wasn't meant to harm you. It was only there to feed off your energy to get stronger. What would that be classified under?
I don't know if there's a classification for it. What I basically call it, if you're dealing with a spirit that is trying to use your energy to make itself more powerful, if it is in fact a spirit, and we'll just assume for argument's sake that it's a spirit and not the D word. What I like to tell people is we all know people in life that we just don't like because of their attitude and the way they treat other people. And I guess, for lack of a better term, they're just assholes in life. And there's no reason to think that when you pass that there's this epiphany and all of a sudden become this this fantastic person. I've dealt with a lot of grumpy spirits and a lot of grumpy spirits that want to trick you into thinking that they're more intimidating than they are. But at the end of the day, they're just like your neighbor that constantly complains about everything. They're just not a good person. So a lot of times I think that's the type of spirit you're dealing with. Not necessarily something that's going to hurt you, just something that wants to intimidate you and use your fear against you. But at the end of the day, really can't do anything to harm you. So I hope that answers the question. It's kind of like you are what you are in life, and that doesn't really change after you pass, if that makes any sense. So you're going to have the same people either way. I mean, I've told people for ages now that when I pass, if you want to talk to me, you could probably find me at Lambeau Field watching a Packer game, because that's what I enjoy doing now. So nothing's going to change for me. I'm just going to be at Lambeau Field sitting there waiting for the next game. But yeah, I just it's oversimplification on my part with the limited time we have, because I think we're actually out of time because I rambled. But that's the gist of my beliefs when it comes to that stuff.
Well, just to tell you what, I really appreciate you coming on our show tonight. And I was kind of stumbling in the beginning part because I wanted to wait till we got more people to come in. But no, it actually kind of went up, and it went up, down for numbers. The highest that we had tonight was 12. So thank you to all of you for coming out tonight. I really appreciate all of our fans and all our supporters. There is one thing I do want to bring up. We are having a harder time to keep up with the StreamYard. So we normally don't do this, but this time we're going to just do a little advertisement really quick. Any donations would be greatly appreciated. At this time, we use the professional part of StreamYard, which is $49 a month, and it kind of does get a little. I don't know how to explain it. Once you got other major bills, and then you got other things, we just don't want to lose these radio shows, because these radio shows, I believe, are like number one way of ticket to meeting other paranormal people in the world, and still with the keeping up with the para-unity, and be able to communicate with other people out in that kind of same field that you're already in. Like you both have that same interest. So it's a good way to keep the communication up with all the other different teams out there. So if anybody does want to make a generous donation and then turn it in at the end of the year as a generous contribution, we greatly appreciate any kind of support, any help that would be much appreciated. Thank you so much. And to you, Tim, thank you so much for coming on tonight. It was a very good chat with you, because it was very sophisticated, to be honest.
I've never been called sophisticated, so that's a first for me.
No offense.
No, it's good. It's good. No, I enjoyed it. Thank you for having me. Thank you for taking the time.
Oh yeah, anytime. Your questions were just like, it actually made my head think for a while, and it kind of paused me and made me stop and think instead of kept talking and kept talking. Like I was like, all right. Well, so thank you so much for coming on tonight, and we will definitely keep in touch on one. We want to do, talk with you again about maybe we can do like 6 people in one group chat and have like a big paranormal discussion with each other. So if you know anybody that would be probably interested in doing something like that, let me know.
All right, we'll do. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, and thank you to all you fans out there tonight, and have a wonderful night. See you all tomorrow when we have the Haunted Ones with Scott Harvey and Amanda Lewis with the Afterlife, our radio talk show. So see you all tomorrow night.